Oh my god. Iceberg.
It's Thursday, the 2nd of January in the Vendée Globe, the skipper's 53rd day at sea, and the big news is the icebergs which have been spotted to the south of Point Nemo. That is the furthest place from land on Earth. Conrad Colman gives us an update from there and what it's like to be in those conditions. We hear from Clarisse Crémer, who has rounded Cape Horn now, and also from Giancarlo Pedote in the Pacific Ocean. And then we take a look at the tracker, what the options are, the leaderboard, where Dalin holds a small lead over Richomme. And then also we look at the PredictWind routing options for Charlie Dalin and also Sebastian Simon. And then we conclude with a clip of those icebergs from Sébastien Marsset.
I'm shivering, and not only because of the cold, but because right over there, that's what I've been looking for. Oh my god. It's a freaking massive iceberg. Well, it feels massive when you know that if you hit anything out here, it's game over. Pretty high stakes game. Whoa. And certainly captures your attention, that's for sure, because I'm now looking ahead of me, looking to see whether there are any little growlers, any bergy bits as they get called. See whether the waves are breaking in any different way. Whoa! Normally the little guys run in front of the big ones, so passing to weather on the windward side is the safe side to pass an iceberg. But look at him! Look at him there! Oh, it's scary. So yesterday, the race directions sent me and the other daggerboard boats in this area a message saying, hey, there are a couple of targets you might want to know about, and that is these icebergs that have drifted out of the ice exclusion zone. Here are their positions. Good luck. Try and avoid them. But it was pretty unclear as to which way they were moving, how many there were, whether there were some false positives or not. So as I've been approaching this zone, that's why I've come down so far south. It's because I wanted to pass to windward of any iceberg, because apparently it's dangerous to pass to leeward of them, because that's where their children are, where they're the bergy bits, growlers. And so I've been working my way down as far south, so that, and then I had reports from Eric, who saw another one but further north, so I thought I was in the clear here. But there's this iceberg that we were not expecting to be here, so that means that there might be others further along the route. But I mean, it's just crazy. It's beautiful, but it's menacing and it's scary. It's only 2 miles away, and I'm close enough that I can see the waves breaking onto its flanks and sending up shoots of spray. And whoa, it is so cold. I mean, there are ice chunks around, so I guess that makes sense. But whoa, this is brutal. And I mean, I saw ice in my first race around the world, in the Global Ocean Race in 2011, 2012. And I was sailing in a little race in a Class 40, and the race direction didn't have the resources to plot the icebergs from the satellites, and so we had no idea. It was complete Wild West. And I remember cruising along and, you know, looking over my shoulder like now and seeing this massive chunk of Antarctica that was out floating in the Pacific. And I can tell you, I did not sleep well the night after that, because wasn't expecting it, didn't see it very clearly, and was just surprised by this massive chunk of ice. What's amazing though, well, that's scary. It did show up on the radar for a while, But now, not at all. I guess it's maybe this target down here somewhere, but it just goes to show how isolated, how dangerous this is, because there's the radar, and it's not seeing it. Alright, well, I think that's going to haunt my dreams for the next week. That is big and scary. Okay, well, I slowed the boat down so that I could have a look at this and make sure that there were no bergy bits around. But now I'm going to sheet on and get the hell out of here.
25 has been quite happy, has been a bit slow, a bit weird, because it's quite weird to be in the fog, not even 100 miles away from the Cape Horn. But I think so far I liked 2025. I'm forcing myself to realize, to make it different, because last time I really saw it as a huge relief. It was almost a finish line for me in my mind last time. Cape Horn, I was waiting for it. I had been looking forward to crossing it for so long that when it happened, it was almost as a disappointment, because of course I was still racing. I was still very, very far away from home. You are still quite south. This part of the world has quite complex weather forecast. So that's a fine balance between keeping the mythology, the legendary aspect of Cape Horn, really enjoying the moment and realizing what it means to be here and how lucky we are to be in such incredible places, and how much it means also as a sailor to cross Cape Horn by yourself, but trying to stay focused, trying to stay calm, and being focused on the days to come, and not staying in the rhythm I've had the luck of having so far, and stay happy on my boat, and that's a fine balance. I think I'm going to be able to do it, but that's why it's going to be quite different from last time. I don't want to make the same mistakes. It is a big moment. I think it's never not a moment. The Indian Ocean has been quite easy on me. The Pacific Ocean has been a bit more tricky, quite long, and I can't even remember last time that I was in the Atlantic Ocean. It feels far away and very close. It's really weird, because so much has happened, and it was not so long ago at the same time. But it's so great to be back in the Atlantic. It really means home. It means having an opportunity to finish this Vendée Globe. It means a lot of things. But again, I want to stay focused but yeah, it's great, and that's what I was saying to Perrine. The vocabulary around Cape Horn, what you can see on the map, and it's crazy to be here. And we are so south that in the nights it's not even dark. It's so beautiful around here. Yeah. Sam. That's and I know that's also one of the reasons she tried the thing up north, that she knew she was going to have an opportunity to come back. I think she that was a bit bold, because you never know how the weather is going to evolve. But it's cool for her that she's back, and it's great to have her in our group, because she's a fierce competitor. So that's going to make us go a little bit faster. But I like my group. Sam and Benjamin are very nice people, and it's a nice group to be in.
Happy New Year from Giancarlo Pedote in Prismian, here from the Pacific Ocean. So the conditions right now are a little bit complicated, because the sea state is not so good. And but in any case, Happy New Year, enjoy the last day of the year, and don't forget, if you like to drink tonight, don't drive. Please do it for me. Bye bye.
For the leading trio in the South Atlantic, it's very much a story of those light winds before the trades kick in. We can see Charlie Dalin there making 7.1 knots, Yoann Richomme 6.8 knots, and Seb Simon just off Rio de Janeiro making 10 knots. For the group who are slightly further south in the Atlantic, we can see Thomas Rouillon just tacking out to the east to make his way into more favourable wind direction, so he can start to hopefully get a bit more of a reaching angle as he makes his way north. Paul Milhat has actually separated away from the rest of that group, and has a lead of nearly 120 nautical miles now over Nico Lundven, who is in 6th place. And we've got Jeremy Bayou, who is on port tack, just making his way behind that. And we've got both Sam Goodchild and Boris Herrmann hardly separated at all, just a nautical mile between them, and Justine Metreau in 10th place. For the trio who have just gone past the longitude of Cape Horn, we've got both Clarisse Crémer and also Benjamin Dutroux almost inseparable. They are 0.2 nautical miles apart from each other, whereas Sam Davies, who's in 13th place, had taken that northern option but has now dived really far south and is probably trying to use that stronger breeze, which is further down there, to overtake that pair. And so big gains by her in the last 24-48 hours as she used that breeze which came in from the west. Next up, approaching Cape Horn, we've got the group from 14th to 19th place, led by Romain Atanasio, and then Jean Le Cam in 16th, the leading daggerboard boat, continuing to hug that ice gate, and then Giancarlo Pedote, who we heard from earlier, who is in 19th place. Then we have that group between 20th and 29th place who are just to the south of Point Nemo and have been given the warnings of those icebergs, and we saw that dramatic footage from Conrad Colman in 29th place. The ranking at 0600 hours shows us how Charlie Dalin still in the lead by 18.28 nautical miles from Yoann Richomme, but it's those average speeds over the last 24 hours which will be playing on their minds. Just over 8 knots for Dalin, and he is looking to break that record, and they must be thinking about that really now, and any days like this just are eating into how quick a time they can set. Seb Simon there, just 6.56 knots over the last 24 hours. There are some amazing battles within battles. If we look at Sam Goodchild and Boris Herrmann there, they are separated by just 1.3 nautical miles. And then Clarisse Crémer and Benjamin Dutroux there, separated by 0.2 nautical miles. The battles are just as tight further down the fleet, and if we look at the group who are just to the south of Point Nemo who are dodging those icebergs, we've got Eric Bellion in 23rd place and Conrad Colman in 29th place, but the gap between that group is just 90 nautical miles. Sailworld.com's New Zealand editor Richard Gladwell has done the PredictWind routing options for Charlie Dalin, and it looks like very soon they will have that southeasterly trade winds to power them towards the equator. Once they're through the doldrums, it looks like they can get a northeasterly before that huge depression which is barreling its way across the North Atlantic from west to east. They will hook into the southeast side of that. There are some huge winds, and the routing options put them either side of the Azores pretty much evenly before a Les Abdelon finish probably on the 14th of January. Seb Simon has been off the coast of Rio de Janeiro for the last 24 hours, contending with very light winds indeed, as you can see from this footage he's sent in here. So we did the PredictWind routing option for him as well to see when he can escape these light breezes. For Simon, it looks like along the Brazilian coast the breeze will start to fill in, and after taking attack away to the east, should be able to hook into those trade winds as he makes his way towards the equator. After that, it's a case of using the northeasterly breezes before hooking into the North Atlantic depressions. As to which side of the Azores he goes is a big question mark, and a lot of it will depend on these strong winds that we see building in from the west. He's going to want to avoid the worst of those winds where you see the greys and the blacks. That is going to be 45 to 50 knots, and he could well be finishing between 36 and 48 hours behind both Charlie Dalin and Yoann Richomme. We conclude today with a short clip from Sébastien Marsset where you can clearly see the concern on his face as he goes past those icebergs. They are in the middle of nowhere, by Point Nemo, the furthest point from land. The last thing they want is to hit a growler, one of these icebergs that's just beneath the surface. And so our thoughts are with them. Thank you very much for watching today. We will continue to keep you posted as this race evolves and also the situation with the icebergs. Please do subscribe to our channel using the button down here and take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com for all the latest news in sailing.